All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Good afternoon and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Lee Doubleday and I'm with the Imagine America Foundation. I'm excited about today's topic, education and training opportunities for 2021 high school graduates, sponsored by Automotive Training Center. Automotive Training Center has two campus locations in Exton and in Warminster, Pennsylvania. Automotive Training Center is also a 15-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award Programs, having provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 2,000 enrolling Imagine America students. Without taking valuable time from our presenter, let me refer any and all inquiries about the Imagine America Foundation or our scholarship programs to our website, which is www.imagine-america.org. Since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains a leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a serious shortage in certified technicians. We hear from employers in virtually all sections of the country desperately looking for qualified employees, so we need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation is Automotive Training Center, and joining us today to discuss in detail the looming technician shortage and how Automotive Training Center is helping meet this need is Samantha Mantegna. Samantha is Automotive Training Center's premier high school presenter and has been working with high schools for over 10 years. So you're in good hands. Before turning the program over to Samantha, let me outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum with questions and answers. Once we finish these remarks, we'll move directly into today's presentation, and all participants can submit questions while the presentation is in session via the Q&A feature in this Zoom meeting. At the end of the presentation, we will then address any questions offered by the participants, and we'll address as many questions as possible and provide written responses and emails if we do not get to them. We do have a hard close at 2:30 p.m. So without taking any more time out of today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Samantha. Samantha, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Lee, and good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today. I love having the opportunity to share the possibilities that Automotive Training Center has for some of your students. As Lee had said, ATC has been around for quite some time. Actually, we started in 1917 in Philadelphia. We are part of what's called Spring Garden College. So we are, if not the oldest school, post-secondary automotive school in the country now, still functioning today. So a long line of history and a long line of training technicians over the years. So I'm happy today to be talking with all of you. With Automotive Training Center, our main goal at this school is basically to train technicians in the fields of automotive, diesel, high performance, collision, and marine. So those are our main goals here with the campus. The biggest thing is that with ATC, our school's a little bit different from what a typical student would be used to, either at a college level or even at the high school level, because when a student comes here, they're responsible for just taking the classes they need for what their specific major is. So that would be all automotive based, that would be marine based, diesel based, so whatever program that they're in, those are the classes that they're going to be in charge of taking. We don't have to have the students retake their academic classes all over again, so they don't have to retake a history class or a language or an English class or anything like that. They come in here, they get right to work immediately. They're doing a lot of hands-on. Right now, things are a little bit different at the school, just to give you a heads up, just like the rest of the world during COVID. So we operate right now on a hybrid schedule. Typically, our students are in school 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 7:30 in the morning to 1:30 in the afternoon. Every day they have a lunch break from 10:30 to 11:15. With what's going on now, we had to make some changes, obviously, to how we operate. So we've been back in the building here since June 15th and operating at that hybrid schedule with A and B days. So A day, the students are in the building. B days, the students that are B are in the building, and the days that those students are not in the building, they're doing their online learning. So typically on our normal basis, we would have class time here, and then the students would go out to the shop and lab area. What we're doing now is that while they're in the building, because they're not here 5 days a week, when they are here physically, they are out in the shop and lab areas about 95% of the time. So this way they are getting the hands-on that they need, because to be a technician in any industry and in the skilled trades, you need to be able to practice what you're actually learning about. So they're comprehending it, they're learning it, but they need to actually be able to do the hands-on part to be able to actually work with the vehicles and work on all the different equipment and things like that. So that's kind of how we're operating right now. The thing about our society today is that we function, most of us, on some sort of technology on a regular basis. And obviously we all know we've been feeling the pain that, all this online learning and things like that we've had to adapt to. But thank God for technology for that reason, I guess. The bottom line, though, is that technology is in everything. It's not going anywhere. And they just keep adding more and more into our daily lives, especially in the vehicles that we're driving today. Cars can park themselves. Cars can, drive by themselves. Cars can talk to you. I mean, there's a whole array of things that happen in these vehicles today, and they don't seem to be stopping with what they're adding to it. So as a technician, and notice I didn't say mechanic, but as a technician, you need to be able to fix and repair and diagnose problems and issues all over the spectrum with a car today. Okay, it's not just the mechanical side of things anymore. So let's get into that a little bit further and talk about the school. ATC has a very long history, as I mentioned previously to you all. We opened up our doors in 1917 as part of Spring Garden College in Philadelphia. We've remained in the city of Philadelphia for quite some time. We stayed there until we moved to our current location in Exton in 1971. So you're talking World War I when the school opened up. You're talking the Ford Model T. They worked on a lot of military equipment and stuff like that. Then after World War II, a lot of the industry was changing. A lot of people were moving out of the city, a lot more car manufacturers coming about. So basically our location in Philly was too small, so we decided to relocate to our Chester County campus in Exton, PA. So we've been there ever since in 1971. In 91, a graduate of ATC and his family actually bought ATC. So it's been family owned and operated ever since then. And then again, there was another surge, another boom in the industry, and there was more demand needed. And we didn't want to overcrowd the Exton location. So we decided it's best to open up a second location of ATC. And we did that in 2005 with our Warminster location, which is Bucks County, PA. We've had many awards and accolades over the years. And like I said before, our school has been around and operating over 103 years. That's a very long time. We're not going anywhere. As long as cars and trucks and boats exist, our school is going to exist because we need to train the technicians to learn what they need to do to get out there and work in the field. So the industry standards are being taught here, okay? Again, our students are in a smaller class size. The maximum typically is 25, but with COVID, the maximum in a classroom now is 12. So again, they're really getting that one-on-one with their instructor as well. And the big thing is that we're kind of like a family environment. We want our students to succeed. So when they are here, we are on top of them 24/7 to make sure that they're doing what they need to do, that they're here every day. We assist them with getting job placement while they're in school. And then obviously our main goal is to make sure they're working full-time when it comes time to graduate from the program. I don't know if anyone ever gets a chance to go to any of the auto shows, whether it be the New York one, whether it be the Philadelphia one. Obviously, they're kind of all over the country, so depending on where you're coming from. But Philadelphia is right in our backyard here, so we have a big presence at the Philadelphia Auto Show every year. Right now, over 190 dealerships basically make up the people that put on the show every year. So that means that that's a lot of relationships that ATC has out in the industry. Like I said before, it's all about networking and helping our students be successful. So we work with all of these dealerships, independent shops, whoever that we can help our students get employed. So again, part-time while they're in school since they leave every day at 1:30. Usually if they like them or they're at part-time, they usually end up bringing the student on full-time when they come time to graduate from the program as well. So again, it's good to have all these networking opportunities for these students. Now I'm going to get right into the program so you guys understand kind of what ATC is all about, what we teach here, and kind of how we operate on a regular basis. The first program up is Automotive Technology. This is 15 months long, so just a little bit longer than a year, and these students are in and out of school. As I had said previously, they're responsible for taking the classes they need for their specific major. In this case, it would be automotive. So the classes that you see on the screen below are all the classes that they're required to take. They do not take them all at the same time. What we do here is, because cars are complex to begin with, is that we want them to understand and learn one subject area at a time. So for instance, if a student is in an engine repair class, that is an 8-week long class. That is the only class they are concentrating on for 8 weeks straight. They're going to know everything about an engine, how to tear it apart, how to put it back together again, how to make it start, what all the components and parts are, how to diagnose problems and issues with it, using scan tools and things of that nature. So they're going to learn the ins and outs of engines in 8 weeks. Once they pass that course, they then can move on to the next class, if that makes sense to everybody. So they'll do that for the entire program. We also are a clock hour school. So basically, the same way that a student would be working and they would clock in and out, they keep track of all their time there. It's the same type of process here. So we basically gear our school up to make it like it's going to work every single day. So these students are getting good habits so that when they actually do go into the real world and they understand that lateness is not acceptable, they would know by going to ATC every day that we really do stay on top of them. We're sticklers about attendance and about latenesses and things of that nature. So again, we try to nip that in the bud, if you will, before any kind of problems or issues arise. The school is in Pennsylvania, so the students will graduate from the program with their PA emissions and inspections license, also their MAX certification, which is mobile air conditioning. We work with different manufacturers here at the school as well, so a couple of them to name would be Mopar, so Chrysler, Fiat, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. We do Volvo, we do Mercedes, and then we also do Volkswagen as well. So these are specific manufacturers where we have their vehicles here at the school donated by them with their scan tools, with their software systems that our students get to learn on those vehicles as well. And the other cool part about ATC, which a lot of students love, is that they're able to bring in their own cars and trucks and work on them here as well. So that's another great feature. Now, I keep talking about technology. Where is this world going? Will it ever stop? So on the screen here, this is a concept car. So all the different car manufacturers out there today are constantly creating, like I said, and they're left and right. So Mercedes has quite a few that they have out there right now. This one is called the Silver Arrow. It's a one-seater cockpit-style car, carbon fiber frame, so very lightweight, very expensive. It's a fully electric vehicle. So usually with electric, you're thinking, oh my goodness, like a car is complex to begin with. Now they're adding more wiring and more diagrams and more computer systems, and you name it, they're adding more and more to these vehicles. Still very fast at 750 horsepower, and they have this built-in race coach that goes with it as well. So students that like video games and virtual reality, this might be up their level there. But again, even though this is a concept car, and even though it seems far-fetched, it's there. I mean, the technology is there. There's no denying it that these people created this already. So when I'm looking at this thinking so futuristic, but is it really if they already created it? So just know with all of this that they keep doing on a regular basis, where will this industry lead us is the bottom line. And basically you guys can see from this presentation so far, it's taking it to a lot more technology involved, right? Now here's another one by Mercedes real quick, just because it's pretty cool to see. Based off the movie Avatar, if you guys have ever seen that movie before, based off of Planet Pandora. The inhabitants of that planet are blue, for lack of a better term. But this car is pretty interesting. They made it look like it's like a real live being so that the car is actually alive. It has these 33 bionic flaps on the back of it. They move, they display messages, they change colors. They let you know the mood of the driver. Do you need all that in a car? Of course not. But is it cool? Most definitely. You can choose whether you want to drive this car or not drive the car. The entire inside of the car is 100% recyclable material, so they would consider it vegan. And then it's another electric vehicle. So once again, very, very complex. Again, the battery life on this thing is kind of crazy. Less than 15 minutes to fully charge, and you can drive for over 435 miles on that charge. So very interesting. So these are just a few of the things that, to showcase that, this industry, this automotive industry is in very, very high demand. And we are really, really looking for skilled technicians to get out there and work in the field. And again, a lot of people in this industry today are at that retirement age or almost there. The big portion of people that make up who work on cars today, the age group is really between like 50 to 65. The smallest population is 3% makes up, and the age group there is 18 to 24 year olds. So again, just to kind of give you an idea that the need is there. As long as people drive, have cars, trucks, and even boats, they are always going to need skilled technicians, especially with all this new technology they keep coming up with. The next program we have here is our Automotive and Diesel program. It's 19 months long, or about a year and a half, if you will. In this program, the students will get all of their automotive classes I just showed you guys on the previous screen. Then they're going to touch upon and major in the diesel engines and diesel fuel system side of things. So with the diesel engines, they could be small, they could be medium, they could be huge, like that Caterpillar engine you see on the screen right there. Diesel's in a lot of different things: cars, trucks, boats, buses, planes, trains, construction equipment, farming equipment, you name it, it's got a diesel engine in it. These students are going to be able to basically have this diesel engine, tear it down to its bare bones, know all the parts and components, be able to put it back together again, make sure it starts, know when there's a problem or issue, how to diagnose it. You'll see right here in these pictures, this is a scan tool that they're using on this diesel engine. Over here is a laptop that's hooked up to this diesel truck. So again, this is the type of technology that they're using, and it keeps going further and further and further in this industry. Diesel fuel systems, again, it doesn't matter if it's the same diesel company or not, the fuel system could be different, so they need to know the ins and outs of that as well. So again, lots of opportunities in the diesel industry along with automotive, all right? These are just a few of the diesel companies we work with. Again, this is just a couple. There's a ton out there that we work with on a regular basis, but this is just kind of giving you an idea where students will be working, part-time while they're in school, and then obviously the main goal is full-time when it comes time to graduate from the program as well. These are just different manufacturers that they basically have manufacturer-specific advanced training programs where students can actually apply to get into these programs a few months before they graduate from ATC. If they choose, they don't have to, it's not mandatory, but if they want to get even more specific training by these specific manufacturers, they can apply to get into their programs as well. I mentioned before the Mopar CAP, so Chrysler, Fiat, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. We have Mercedes-Benz at our Exton location. We have the Mopar at both campuses. We have Volvo at the Warminster location. And then we also just added Volkswagen at the Warminster location as well. So again, what's happening is that a lot of these industries are basically leaning on to post-secondary schools such as ATC because they need skilled technicians. So they're already, calling us up wanting technicians to begin with, and then they thought maybe we can kill two birds with one stone. Let's have them train on our vehicles as well. So those two Volvo vehicles you see there were donated from the local dealerships. The students get to work on their cars. They get to use the software systems, the scan tools, the whole 9 yards. And then again, if students want to, they can work for these companies part-time while they're in school, and then full-time when it comes time to graduate, obviously would be the goal. It's not mandatory that they have to work for these companies, so I don't want you guys to think that, but this is just other advanced training that they get while they're here in school, and it looks great on their resume having multiple different manufacturer trainings that they're capable of doing as well, which is pretty cool. Another program that we do here is our automotive and high performance program. So basically students that like fast cars, muscle cars, tuner cars, race cars, they like nitrous, they like turbo, they like old school cars with the carburation. Basically in this program, they're gonna get all of their automotive classes, and then they're gonna specify in the machine shop, advanced machine shop, engine rebuilding, welding, and fabrication side of things. So basically taking an engine, tearing it down to its bare bones, going into the machine shop and honing out and boring different aspects of that engine block to make it faster, more powerful, add horsepower to it. So again, it's another specialty that we offer here at the school. The students are able to bring in their own engine projects to work on as well. So you'll see an engine right here that these students rebuild. This is their instructor right here. And again, they have all this equipment and diagnostic tools that they're able to use as well to utilize here. This engine is running without actually being inside a car. This is called an engine dyno. And then up top here, this is actually a car on what's called a chassis dyno, which means it's kind of like a treadmill for cars, for lack of a better term. So, when we're on a treadmill, you can run, walk, etc. You're doing it in place. You're not going anywhere, but they keep track of everything that you're doing, your calories and how fast you're going, and your heart rate and all that kind of stuff. It's almost the same thing with a car. This whole computer system over here on the wall is hooked up to this engine, and they're going to be able to run a diagnostic test on it, which is pretty cool. The next program we offer is our collision reconditioning technology program. So we know cars look great when they're brand new, they're shiny, they're sparkly. You just admire how pretty it looks, and then, all of a sudden that car accident happens. That car's not looking so pretty anymore. So again, these are the people responsible for fixing and repairing the outside of the car. So basically what they're going to do is assess the damage. They're going to remove the parts that are, smashed in, for lack of a better term. So whether it be a bumper, a hood, a fender, a door, etc. Then they got to look underneath at the structure and the frame to make sure everything's okay. If it's not, is it fixable? Is it worth fixing? How much is it going to cost? One of the main courses in this program, and it's not glamorous, but they definitely need to know it, is cost estimating and damage repair. Because an estimate, it is just an estimate, but you can't be too far off from that original estimate you give. So if you were to tell somebody $2,000 and they pick their car up and you're telling them $4,000, I don't think you would have a very happy customer. So again, these are the kind of the ins and outs of what they need to do here. They're going to get their welding certification in this program. There's different types of welds that they're going to need to know and use in this industry. They're also going to know how to paint. That's another big one. And then the body work and the framing and the metal work and all that kind of stuff. So this program goes very much into depth as well. These students will also get 5 automotive classes, and this program again is 15 months long. And then these are students in the shop area. So again, just like they would be out in the real world, practice makes perfect. So you definitely have to do the hands-on side of things when you're in a skilled trade. You can read about anything that you want and enjoy it and understand it and think you know how to do it. But until you have that equipment in front of you doing it, you need to keep practicing to make perfect. And that's what this school is all about, making mistakes. And that's okay. So that when you do go into the real world, you know exactly what you need to do. You know how to correct things, fix things, the whole 9 yards. So these students here in the paint booth area, they're in their full gear. This is what they would wear typically in the field as well. Their breathing apparatus is on. No one's trying to breathe in paint fumes. Over here, these students got done a paint course. So what they do is they give them projects to do. These are hoods that these students did. They get to do their own designs and things like that, which is pretty cool. And then over here, this young lady is welding. Like I said before, you will get your welding certification in this program, which is great. And then our last program that I'll talk about with you guys is our Marine Service Technology program, which is 9 months long. So this is our shortest program, and you guessed it by looking at the screen here, it's all about boats. So anything from small, medium to large watercraft, we're gonna work on here at the school. Inboard, outboard, stern drive, diesel, gasoline engines. Obviously, boats should go in the water. So this is a typical marina where you're gonna see students working. Obviously, all over the area, there's bodies of water all around, depending on if you live closer to the coast, near the ocean, etc. The bottom line is there's plenty of employment opportunities for the marine side of things too, because again, just like the automotive side, they're looking for young, skilled technicians to take over these industries, because a lot of people that work in these industries right now are at the older generation and they're about to retire. They need people to come in and take over. Boats are pretty pricey. For instance, I always like showing this. The one on the screen that you see right there is a Lamborghini boat. So not only does Lamborghini do cars and SUVs now they got into boats, so we can only imagine how costly that would be. But boats, they go on water, so they really need to be maintained, because if you don't maintain it and do what you need to do to, make sure the boat is running properly, you're never going to be able to take it into the water, okay? So again, lots and lots of opportunities around here. And some students even go as far as relocating to warmer climates where it's warm all year long. So you're talking Florida, the Keys, the Caribbean, etc. It's all up to where the student wants to go, wants to take their program. As I had said previously, typically when a student is here, they're here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 7:30 in the morning till 1:30 in the afternoon, and they get a lunch break every day from 10:30 to 11:15. On a normal basis, they will have classroom time to understand the theory, the concepts, etc. Then they go right out to the lab and shop, and that's where they get to apply everything at. We're doing things a little differently now, as I explained earlier. So when they're in the building physically here, they're basically in the shop the entire time, and they're doing their classroom time pretty much as their online learning platform, if that makes sense to everybody. And student services. Oh, sorry, it skipped. Student services are kind of like our guidance counselors, but also the go-to for pretty much everything as well. So basically, any kind of problems or issues the students might be having, like I said, we stay on top of students here, so we follow them to the T to make sure that there's no bad habits starting, that they don't just all of a sudden start showing up late. We have to address it immediately and wonder, why are you showing up late? What's the problem? This goes against your time and things like that. If they are habitually absent, again, they need to be present here in the building to actually learn. So these are all things that these student services department will handle with the students. We also have housing available. So I know some of the people on the Zoom today might be coming from further away. Housing is available. We have a housing fair every spring where the students get to pick where they want to live and so forth. Tutoring, all that kind of stuff is available. We have carpool assistance. So if a student lives near another student and maybe they have a license but they don't drive yet, or whatever the situation may be, we help our students carpool with each other as well. And then career services are the people that assist our students from the time that they're in school. So for within the first 2 weeks, we meet with every one of our students to make sure that we know them, what kind of level they're at, where they see themselves working, if there's any problems or issues that would hinder them from coming to school every day, so on and so forth. So we do resume writing with them, interviewing skills, how to dress, how to talk, how to speak, how to act. A lot of these soft skills that you definitely need when you go out into the work industry today as well. Before COVID, we definitely would host career fairs on the campus with a lot of the different dealers and shops in the area. The pictures that you see on the screen are obviously from last year before COVID hit. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully we can get back to doing, a lot of those things once the pandemic is kind of under control, so to speak. And then these are just people that hire our students and graduates. We have students from Pennsylvania, from New Jersey, from Delaware, from Maryland, from New York. We have students from all over the place. And again, if they're coming from a further distance, we supply the housings that the students can pick so they can live here at the campus as well, and obviously work in the area. So again, just kind of giving you an idea of what's offered. And then financial aid. So just as a four-year college or university, a student would apply for the FAFSA, it's the same exact process here at ATC as well. So we are a fully accredited school. So again, financial aid is offered to students that qualify for it. The one big thing that we really do here and we pride ourselves on is scholarships. ATC, we do scholarship competitions every year for the high school seniors. We give out 100%, 50, and 25% tuition scholarships. And these students do not need to be experts or know anything about cars, trucks, or boats to get the scholarship. We also obviously deal with Imagine America. We have a lot of our students that have the Imagine America scholarship here. Skills USA, another one if you guys have heard of that before. And then when the student meets with our financial aid department, they also give them a list of other scholarships they can qualify for to use here at the campus as well. So there's a lot of great things that are going on and happening at the same time. So I will stop there and kind of open it up, give it back to Lee and see if there's any questions I can answer for anybody and kind of go from there.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Samantha. Appreciate that. Yeah, we are now going to be opening this up for the Q&A portion of the presentation. So if you do have any questions for us, please feel free to submit them during the through the Q&A feature. So it does look like I had a question come in.
Yep.
Samantha, this person wants to know if they wanted to talk to one of the local representatives, should they just go to the website or should they contact yourself directly?
They can contact me directly.
Okay. I will also, tomorrow when we compile the recording of this presentation, I will include Samantha's contact information in that email that I sent to you. The second question wants to know more about the housing situation.
Yep.
Do you have dorms or how does that work?
Nope, they're not dorms. So we work with different apartment complexes that are right around our area, and we've been working with them for years. So whoever is kind of within like a 1 or 2 mile radius of the school. So what we do is we have a housing fair every year, and we have the different complexes that they have their representatives come here to the campus, and then you meet with them, and then once that's done, you go to the actual sites and you get to tour them with your students. And then this is also a chance where we can kind of pair you with a student, another student from out of town, or somebody that's not, local to the area, and they can possibly have a roommate as well. So it's almost kind of like a college orientation a little bit as well. So it's kind of what we facilitate here. So we don't tell you where you need to live. You guys can kind of choose that on your own.
Well, it's nice to know that you have that option though.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then the other question wants to know if there are GPA requirements in order to get into the school.
So the main, we do look at grades, so we don't base it off of that though. So a lot of what we do is, the first thing is that we want the student and the parent to come in and tour the school. From there, we will then meet with them and kind of go over everything that I went over with you today, but in a longer format, not so short, just to kind of explain everything in detail and what the school is all about and so on and so forth. They will look at their grades and kind of question it a little bit and just see, I see that you didn't do as well in math, but you did really well in, history or something like that. So, kind of getting a gauge for, what the student is all about. Is it just school in general that they're not, they don't like, or is it a subject that they like that they do better at? So again, they're not going to base it off of solely the GPA. They kind of want to get to know if this school is actually going to be a good fit for the kind of student that they are, if that makes sense to everybody. Yeah,
no, that's important. Okay, one more question. This person wants to know if you have any virtual events coming up, maybe even an open house.
Yep.
Is there a place on the website maybe somebody could go to learn more information about that?
Sure. So basically what we do is we still have been hosting events here. We just do it on like a smaller scale than we usually do. So we just actually had a scholarship event last night here at the Warminster location. We have our Exton location next week, where we still have the students and their parents come in, but everybody's socially distanced and we kind of have everybody separated throughout the building, if that makes sense. What we do offer up though still is our individual tours with the admissions department. So if a student and parent wants to come in and check out the school, they can freely come in and do a tour. We just set it up for them whatever time it is so that we have a representative able to walk them around and do the tour with them. Everyone will be wearing masks still, and we have more than enough hand sanitizer to last a lifetime around our building and everything like that. Temperature checks, the whole 9 yards. So we do everything as far as following the CDC guidelines and so forth. So we always we still have that ability for students to actually come physically to the building. And then any events that we have will also be on the website, which is autotraining.edu.
Okay, easy enough. Okay, now this person wants to know, is Marine offered at both campuses?
No, it is not. Good question. Marine is only offered at the Warminster location, which is Bucks County.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Well, just a few house cleaning items here. I just want to let everybody know that this presentation has been recorded, and I will be sending you the edited version of this presentation tomorrow morning. We will also place this presentation on our website, which again is www.imagine-america.org. There is a quick follow-up survey at the end of this presentation or when you leave this meeting, if you wouldn't mind just helping us better understand maybe some topics that you would like us to see cover in the future. It would be very helpful for the foundation. But before closing, I just want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today. I also want to thank Samantha for sharing with us today's presentation and encourage each and every one of you to contact her directly with any future questions. On behalf of the Imagine America Foundation, Samantha and myself, I just want to thank you all and goodbye.